Welcome in, Bills Mafia. Welcome back to another edition of the Go Bills podcast here on the Go Bills Podcast Network, on our YouTube channel, and streaming also on our website, thegobillspodcast.com. I am your host and founder of the Go Bills Podcast, Brett. Glad to be with you on this Victory Monday. We appreciate each and every one of you for watching this podcast. And as always, we want to extend at Go Bills Podcast our thoughts and prayers to everyone in Western New York that's being affected by the snowstorm. And we wish everybody a safe and speedy recovery from the aftermath of this winter storm. I know it hasn't been easy. There's a lot of people that are without power right now, and we wish everyone a safe and speedy recovery from the damage that has been caused by the storm. While I know not everybody is safe and warm, we just want everybody to return back to normal as soon as possible. Today we're going to discuss the Bills and Bears game from this past weekend on Saturday, give our thoughts, give our game balls out for the game, as well as our stock up and stop down players from the game. Before we begin, I would like to say the Buffalo Bills have clinched the AFC East for the third consecutive year. The Buffalo Bills are also on a 6-game win streak after starting the year off a little bit sloppy. They're finally coming together, and we are 2 games away from being the AFC number 1 seed, which would be incredible. This is the first time since 1988 to 1990 that the Bills have won the division for 3 straight seasons. And it's incredible. And we got 2 more games left to go. 2 games against the Bengals as well as against the Patriots. So 2 more games and 1 job is accomplished. We got a couple more jobs that we need to finish up on. Get the AFC number 1 seed and then control our own destiny in each game to get to the Super Bowl. So we are still moving along. Let's get it going and keep going. Keep the dreams alive and just be the Buffalo Bills. Play Buffalo Bills football. Let's discuss the game against the Bears, and I'll give you my thoughts on the game. I thought that overall it was a terrific game from the Buffalo Bills as far as the offense and defense. The special teams, as far as Tyler Bass, I would say a little bit shaky, but overall really liked what I saw from the Bills as a whole entire team. The biggest things in this game, I would say, is it was a terrific performance from the defense as a whole. After the first drive, Buffalo struggled on that first drive. The Bears moved down the field easily, and by all means, I thought it was going to be a game where Buffalo was going to struggle left and right. I thought could potentially be a trap game as well. But the Bills showed resiliency, as they have all season long, especially in close games. And they started off slow, but the entire defensive line adjusted. They did exactly what Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier wanted them to do after that drive, and they were dominant throughout the entire game. They did a very good job of containing Justin Fields, and that was a focal point for the game. Justin Fields ended up with 7 carries for 11 yards in the game, and Buffalo's defensive line contained him very well. Very good performances overall from guys like Shaq Lawson, Ed Oliver as well. He was disruptive throughout the whole entire game with tackles for losses. Tim Settle, another guy that had a big game as well. And also, I got to say, Kingsley Jonathan, great game from him. The Syracuse alum comes into the game off the practice squad, making big impacts. Although there was that play where he did have the offsides and he had the tip pass. I really did like what I saw from him throughout the whole entire game. Jonathan was credited with 1 tackle in the game, although he was disruptive throughout the whole entire game. Daquan Jones, another player who had a really good game, 3 tackles overall in the game. Jordan Phillips, another guy that had a tackle for loss in the game. You can tell that the shoulder injury is making a big impact on him, but really liked what I saw from him as well. Other guys on the defensive front that made a big impact on the game was also AJ Epinesa, who had one tackle as well as the sack in the game. And you can tell that he's starting to come around. He has 6.5 sacks on the year, really making an impact this year. And he has, like I said, he has 6.5 sacks, missing a couple of games, but could potentially get back up to the 10 sack range. As far as the defensive line, I have to say that overall that I really love the performance from Ed Oliver, 4 tackles on the game, as well as the 1 sack, and also having the pass deflected as well, where he got his hands up, made a big play for the Bills to have that pass defense as well. So a really good performance from the Buffalo Bills defensive line as a whole. Overall, I will also say that the Bills back 7 did a very good job in this game. I would say probably one of their better games this season. The back 7 was almost unstoppable. There was 18 throws from Justin Fields. 2 of them were thrown for more than 10 yards in the game. A really good performance from the Bills on the back 7. A couple of plays where Tre'Davious White was able to get his hands on the ball as well. Jordan Poyer had a really good game as well, making a big impact on the game, as well as Dane Jackson and Kaiir Elam combining on the other side of the field with some great tackles from both of them as well. You could tell that the importance from this game was to contain Justin Fields, but also it was to play that soft zone coverage like we talked about in the pregame show, where they were playing that soft zone coverage and becoming more comfortable with that to allow Justin Fields to try and force the ball down the field. And that didn't happen in this game. Although Justin Fields was without 2 receivers in this game, Aquarius St. Brown, you call him AEQ St. Brown, as well as Chase Claypool in the game. Being without them, you could really tell that it impacted the performance from the Chicago Bears, and they had to rely on guys like Cole Kmet. This isn't a true target for Justin Fields to go to, so it made it a one-sided performance from the offense of the Chicago Bears in this game. As for the Bills on offense, really liked what I saw from the Bills on offense as far as the pass rush or the rushing attack. Really good performance from them. Devin Singletary had 106 yards on 12 carries. James Cook, 11 carries for 99 yards. Almost having 2 100-yard performances this season, which would have been incredible. I believe this is the first 100-yard performance from the Bills this season, so really good job from the Bills. They were able to get some really good pushes from the offensive line, and I really loved what I saw from the Bills as a whole from an offensive standpoint overall from the rushing attack. Overall, 31 carries for 251 yards, 3 touchdowns from the team. The 3 touchdowns came from Devin Singletary had one, James Cook had another one, as well as Josh Allen having another one. Allen had 6 carries for 41 yards in the game, so his average was very good in this game. As for the receiving attack and Josh Allen in this game passing, not the best performance from Josh Allen. Although he did have 2 touchdowns in the game, he also had 2 interceptions, and there's a couple of moments where I have to say that the Bills, as well as myself, were wondering. I was questioning it very much in this game. I was concerned with what was going on with Josh, and there's times where I wasn't sure what he was looking at. We just didn't understand the coverage, especially on that route. That was a wheel route from Isaiah McKenzie, and while it was really good coverage from the defender, I just had to wonder why wasn't he going to different receivers such as Stephon Diggs or other receivers as well. Let's go with the comments on YouTube. Chill Still Bills, another colleague of ours on the Go Bills podcast, chimed in saying, "Go Bills, go Bills, man! 2 games left in this year, 2 games that are pinnacle for the AFC playoffs. Got to get the number 1 seed. Really want to get that number 1 seed so that the playoffs runs through Orchard Park. It would be great to see that. Appreciate you, Chill Still Bills, for tuning in. We're going to send a DM to you over this week, and we'll discuss some dates that you're open to do a combination performance on our YouTube channel later in the week so that we can have another YouTube live with you. Really appreciate them. If you haven't already, go check out Chill So Bills on YouTube and Instagram. They have this new metaverse that is incredible. And if you haven't tuned into that, tune into it. There's a show that we did together during the week of the Patriots week where we had the metaverse and we brought them in. It's incredible. It's a virtual reality system where they have it set up with the Buffalo Bills Stadium, much like I have the uh, virtual background of the Buffalo Bills Stadium. They set theirs up with a virtual reality Buffalo Bills Stadium, and it's incredible to see. Overall, like I said, for the Bills and Josh Allen, not the best for performance. He went 15 for 26, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But there's plays where I know Josh wants him back. The play where he tried to get the ball to Isaiah McKenzie on what looked like it was going to be a play where it was one-on-one coverage, and Isaiah McKenzie looked like he had a step on the defensive back, but the coverage was disguised very well from the defender, where he broke off of his man and he was able to uh, go towards Isaiah McKenzie and create the interception. But not the best performance from Josh Allen in this game. As well as Gabe Davis, I have to say there's some plays where I was questioning Gabe Davis in this game, especially there's one route where Josh was throwing the ball up to him in the end zone, and he didn't seem like he put in an effort for that play where he could have potentially had a pass interference or a holding call on that play, and he didn't make a second effort to go towards the ball. So I questioned that as well as a couple of other plays where it just didn't seem like he was wanted to get the yards after the catch on the fumble, and he could have just went down on that play as well. So not the best performance from Gabe Davis in this game, but he did have a really good catch in the back of the end zone for the touchdown as well. So he had a decent game, but just a couple of things that needs to be corrected. Another good performance from Dawson Knox as well. 3 catches for 38 yards and the touchdown. Another good game from him. And then a little bit of a question mark in this game was the overall performance from Stephon Diggs. And while I don't blame him for the performance that he had, it just questions me a lot that why aren't the Bills going after Stephon Diggs? Why aren't they trying to target and get him the ball? So I have to say that these numbers, 2 catches for 26 yards, that's more of a number 3 receiver than a number 1 receiver numbers. We got to get the ball to Stephon Diggs, no matter what it takes, because these numbers, especially in the playoffs, are not going to win you games. Like I said, overall, really liked what I saw from the Bills, and I got to give it out to, and I'm going to go over the special teams as well. Really good performance from Sam Martin. 3 punts on the day for 161 yards with a 53.7 average. 1 landing inside the 20-yard line. Really loved the performance that he had in this game because the conditions were rough. And you can tell the conditions were rough, especially for the special teams with Tyler Bass missing the 1 field goal and the extra point as well. So really tough performance from the special teams with Tyler Bass. But for Sam Martin, great performance from him. The 3 punts landing 1 inside the 20 and another one that went for, I believe, 63 yards. So really good numbers from Sam Martin and a really good performance from him. Let's go over our game balls, discuss our game balls for today. Our game balls for the offense will go out to the 2 running backs. I'm going to give 1A and 1B. The game ball for the offense in James Cook as well as Devin Singletary, because I really liked the performance that both of them had, and they had very similar numbers overall. So I got to say both of them, Devin Singletary and James Cook, get a game ball from me. As for the defense, I got to give a game ball out to Ed Oliver. I really believe that he's made a big difference in this defensive line. Really love what he has done, especially since Von Miller has been out and is out for the season. He's stepped up in the place of Von Miller, and he's making a big impact Bills this season, and he's only getting better each week. So I got to give him the game ball. If you have another player that you want to give a game ball out to, let us know in the comments below. And I do believe that there's some other choices that you could give game balls out to. I mean, you could say Shaq Lawson, Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds. You can say all those guys that deserve the game balls. Another thing I would like to add on that I didn't discuss in the defensive side of the performance, I thought it was a very good game from the Buffalo Bills, and especially the defense being able to tackle in this game. And I thought that was made a big impact on this game. This is by far the best tackling performance from the Bills this week and this season. So I got to give the Bills credit for what they have done this week in the tackling, and I think that it's going to get better each week, and especially with the playoffs coming up. You got to get better, and you got to be able to tackle and not allow yards after the run, especially. So really good performance from the Buffalo Bills. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, as well as on our website, GoBillsPodcast.com. If you haven't already, go over to our new website, GoBillsPodcast.com, and follow us, subscribe to us on there as well. You'll get notifications for all the latest updates from the Buffalo Bills, as well as our upcoming schedule for when we're going to be having our podcast throughout the week, and all the collaborations that we will have, such as collaborations with Chill Still Bills, Nicosia, as well as the Red, White, and Bills, too. So don't forget to go over to the GoBillsPodcast.com and subscribe to that today. If you have anything that you would like to add to our website as well, we have a section where we have a fan photos as well, and we're going to create that with all the different fans that have been going to Bills games or any content that is very creative, stuff like that. Send us a DM on Instagram as well, and let us know your thoughts on your pictures and everything as well. On YouTube, Chill Still Bills said game ball to Dorsey for having more belief in the run game as well. Yeah, I got to give him credit for that, because I think he knew that Josh was not having the best game, the best performance, so he had to lean on other areas. And while many people that are Bills fans, especially myself, was kind of a little bit upset with the performance from Josh Allen in this game, I got to give the Bills credit. They were able to win this game in different areas that we're not used to, where the run game dominated the game, and that's what led us to the win this week. Like I said, very good performance from the Bills overall. Really liked what I saw. And don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms and keep up the notifications. Send us a DM on Instagram as well if this is your first time coming onto our podcast and tuning into our YouTube channel. Send us a DM on Instagram as well. We'd love to get to know you and give you guys a little bit more about what we do as a podcast as well. So if you haven't already, please go over to our Instagram and send us a DM as well. This has been the Go Bills podcast, and we will see you on Wednesday at 8 p.m. for another edition of the Go Bills podcast. In that podcast, we will be previewing the Cincinnati Bengals and Buffalo Bills game this Monday at 8 p.m. Also, we will have our pregame show before the Bills game against the Cincinnati Bengals. That'll be at 7:30 p.m. on Monday, as well as our halftime show on Monday, immediately following the conclusion of the first half of the Cincinnati Bengals and Buffalo Bills game, as well as our post-game show next week after the Bills game. That'll be probably on Tuesday. I believe we're going to do it on Tuesday next week. So a lot of shows coming up this week, as well as some collaborations potentially with the Red, White, and Bills, as well as Nickel City Mafia throughout the week. But we will keep you informed, and don't forget to go out to that website, GoBillsPodcast.com, to get all the latest information on when our schedule is going to be going on. This has been the Go Bills podcast, and we will see you next time for another edition of the Go Bills podcast. Until then, be safe, and Again, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone in Western New York that has been affected by the snowstorm this week. Stay safe and wish everybody a nice, warm weekend. And as always, go Bills and Happy New Year.